Yo, 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 what's going on, YouTube? It is Debonair D, and it's Tuesday, May 22nd, 2018, and I'm back at your neck. I'm giving you motherfuckers a second installment of my podcast, man. I wanted to knock out like 2 or 3 podcasts since my last one, but I've just really been busy, man. I really have, and I actually had a podcast that I recorded last Wednesday that was only about 30 minutes, but I was slightly hesitant to upload it because I kind of wanted to stick to my original goal of having all my podcasts be an hour, as well as the fact that, man, I just straight up forgot to upload that shit. So, of course, I don't want to upload a podcast from last Wednesday talking about, hey, it's May 18th or whatever last Wednesday was, and woo, 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 woo. I just didn't even want to do that. So, I'm going to knock out another podcast for you guys. I don't know how long it's going to be. I got some things to do later on this evening. I got to get all my bags packed. I'm going to New York. I'm hitting up New York tomorrow, man, bright and early in the morning. I'm hopping on a plane. I'm going to go up to New York. I'm going to be up there for about 4 days, 3 nights, and then I'm sitting over there. I'm going over to Toronto as well for 3 days and 2 nights. So I'll be coming back next week, and I'm really excited about this trip, man, because not only have I never been to New York or Toronto, but I've never really been to the East Coast like that. I've never been to Canada, period. I've never been to the East Coast. I've never been to Boston, Philly, New York, Newark, Buffalo, Baltimore. Well, no, I have been to Baltimore. I take that back. But I haven't really been up to the East Coast like that, so for me to go up there, man, it's going to be great. I've never really had the chance to experience that sort of life. So, or the culture rather. So I'm excited about that. And like I said, I'm very excited about Toronto. I've heard many great things about it. It's a city that, from what I see, I've never experienced it, but it looks like a city that I may actually consider living in one day. So, like I said, I'm very excited about this trip, man. So I wanted to go ahead and knock out this podcast before I leave. Hopefully I will be able to knock out some videos while I'm in New York, but, there's no guarantee. So I figured I'll do it right now while I know I have the time. So I was saying this in my last podcast, but I'm going to make a actual video, talking about this, but let me just say this right now. I will be doing a goddamn YouTube series on YouTube once I get back. It's probably going to start around June 7th. Which is a Monday. That's when school starts for me, summer school. And I'm going to be utilizing the gym on campus. And hopefully I have a buddy of mine who, he's a pretty good friend of mine, man. He's like a brother. I've known him since I was, how long have I known him, man? I've known him since I was like 7 years old, man. We were in 3rd grade together. So, he really is like a brother to me, man. Of course, we haven't been as close in the past couple of years. We were at different schools, went off to college, whatever. But, once a brother, always a brother. But he's actually a photographer. He does film work. So I'm hoping that instead of me having just a friend or just setting up a tripod with my iPhone recording my fitness workouts, hopefully I can have his ass come in with an official camera and, he can edit or even if he can't edit it for me, at least he can get some high quality footage and, I don't have to be focused on tripods and trying to set it up and people walking in front of me and all that bullshit. I could just have my boy do it. And he's actually going to be a guest on my channel at some point because, for one, he's just my boy. I want to chop it up with him. We have some stories and shit to tell on live. But also he's endeavoring to put out a short film with another buddy of mine later on this summer. So I'm going to give him an opportunity to come on my platform and, promote the video. And, it's going to be all good. It's going to be a beautiful thing. So I'm looking forward to that. Make sure you guys check that out. Like I said, it's coming June 7th. And the main premise of my series that I'm starting is me basically getting big again. And it's going to be very similar to Rich Piana's Bigger by the Day. Bradley Martin did some shit like that as well. But I like Bradley Martin a lot, but, it wasn't just as good. Rich Piana, Bigger by the Day is the best bulking series of all time. I don't really think anybody can top that, especially considering that Rich is like a legend now because he's gone. So, he's Oh, man, I was just getting a notification, somebody saying they love my videos, man. Hey, man, if you think this, Naz Wilmer, shouts out to Naz Wilmer, man. I really appreciate that, brother. I couldn't see the whole, look, yeah, never mind. I can't read the whole comment. It's too much. I'm going to have to click on it. But, like I said, first and foremost, man, I say it all the time, but I really appreciate you guys watching my videos. I know a lot of people who, I know people personally who have bigger YouTube channels to me. I know them personally. I know people with anywhere from 1,000 to, up to like 50,000 on YouTube. But, just to think that 150, well, how many subscribers do I have? Like 170, 180, somewhere around there. Under 200 subscribers. But let's just say 200. Let's just round it up and make it 200, even though it's not. Just to think that there's 200 people that, watch the video or maybe two or maybe multiple videos of me, and they look at my videos and they say, man, I like this nigga. I like this young brother. I want to subscribe to him and hear more of what he's got to say. Man, that's crazy to me that 200 people said that. That's really crazy to me. So I always really appreciate you guys watching me, and, especially considering that I haven't necessarily put the most amount of time and energy into this channel. I've put out videos, and there's been certain periods where I was back to back with it, but the quantity hasn't really been up, and I'm open to admitting this myself. The quality hasn't been everything. There's been certain videos where I watched back and I was like, I probably shouldn't have put that out, but I left it up because certain people liked it. There's been videos where I put up and I was like, man, the audio was fucked up. I probably shouldn't have put that out, or the angle or whatever. But just to think that me pressing record on my iPhone has caused 200 people to say, man, I want to hear more of what this brother's got to say. I really appreciate that. But getting back to what I was saying, the series is going to be me getting big again. For those of you who know me personally, I got injured, but I basically had to just take a break from working out because I had tendonitis in both of my wrists. And at the time, my right was worse, and then my left got worse. But just from overusage of my wrists, man, I was doing a lot of writing, a lot of typing. I was playing a lot of video games. Of course, working out as well. I was doing my MMA training. I mean, my wrists were just all day long just taking a beating. And I never really gave them a chance to properly heal. If I had just taken off like maybe 3 weeks back then, I probably would have been good. But I just let the injuries just kept flaring up, and it got to a point where I had to take pretty much about 5 months off before I could seriously do any lifting. And even now, I got to be very careful, because you guys know when you're in that stage where you're healed, but you're not 100%, you're healed. You don't feel any pain, and it's strong, but one false move could just fuck you up. I'm at that point right now with my wrists, so I'm playing it very safely. And like I said, I didn't injure it from any sort of training, any sort of physical training. It was just overusage. So I'm making sure that I don't use my phone too much. I don't play too many video games, type, whatever. But as I digress, I wanted just to say that I'm going to be doing a video. I'm sorry. I got a little sidetracked. I was reading a notification. But back in October, like I said, I had to take time off. And like I said, I took about maybe 5-6 months off. Just recently have I been able to work out again. So this series is going to be basically me getting big again, getting big and strong again. Now, don't get it twisted. I was never just this huge mass monster. You know what I'm saying? But I did have a considerable amount of more size on me. I lost about 40 pounds. Now, that 40 pounds that I lost wasn't all muscle. A decent amount of it was fat and water. Because I was super bulked up. I was over bulked at the time. I spilled over, so to speak. But, let's just not, when you're over bulked, you're a lot stronger and you have a lot more muscle. So, I did a cut around that same time. So you had a culmination of things. I was cutting, I wasn't working out, and I was doing hella cardio with my MMA stuff. So needless to say, that was a recipe for disaster, man. I lost a lot of muscle, lost a lot of size, lost a lot of strength. Didn't really lose any power. And when I say power and strength, I mean like my punching power stayed the same, but that makes sense because I was still training my punching power. But I lost a lot of size and strength when it comes to the weights, man. So this series is basically just going to be me getting it back, man. It's going to be about I'd say about maybe a 6 or 7 week, maybe even an 8 week thing. I would like to keep it at 8 weeks, but I'm not exactly sure. But I know for sure I want to do it during the summer and take advantage of this summer schedule that I got. Because this fall, man, it's going to be even worse. I'm not going to have any free time probably. So be on the lookout for that. I do already have a name for it. So the only reason I'm not going to disclose it in a video until right before I start the series is just because, even though I'm a small YouTuber, a very small YouTuber, I don't want any motherfuckers to see this shit and, run off with the name. I think it's a cool little name, so I want to hold on to that name. And I'm looking forward to it, man, but I will say this. I'm not completely decided if I want to include my MMA training in the thing because let's just act like the name of my series was Bigger by the Day. It's not, but let's just act like it was. MMA training really doesn't have anything to do with being bigger by the day. That's separate. It's going to affect it, of course, but it really doesn't have anything to do with it. So I'm not exactly sure if I want to include that in the series, and I have a few ideas. I may include it. I may just not include it at all. Or what I may do is run like basically 2 series at one time. So I have the basically, pseudo getting bigger by the day. And then I also have a series of me, getting better and progressing with my MMA stuff, which I think is a pretty good idea. Or I may just change the name and change, like the slogan of my weightlifting series and just kind of make it like just a general fitness type of thing where it's just me basically becoming, well, I almost said the name, but being the best that I can be. You know what I'm saying? So, we'll figure it out, man. We'll figure it out. And, I'm telling you guys, man, I'm really looking forward to this. And what I may do is kind of do it like Bigger by the Day. I'm going to be in class a lot of the day, but I do wake up very early and do morning cardio, and I prepare my meals and everything for the day. So it may be very similar to Rich's page, man. I think we all agreed. Anybody who likes fitness, when you used to watch Rich Piana's videos, those Bigger by the Days were classics. I mean, they were so goddamn entertaining and had so many gems and so many just things that you just loved and you went back to see more and more and more. And it even got to a point where a lot of times you weren't even watching the videos for the fitness. So that's what I kind of want to do with mine. We'll see how it goes. We'll play it by ear. I'm going to chop it up with my photographer. I got a workout partner I'm going to be hitting it with. I'm going to chop it up with him. So we'll see how this all plays out. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. What else did I want to talk about, man? Man, let me say this. I'm not a politics guy, just in the sense that I just don't really care about politics. And see, I'm not like a lot of people, especially in today's times, where I want to put on a certain facade like I'm so knowledgeable in politics. I'm not. A lot of people didn't become knowledgeable in politics until Trump was in office. A lot of people didn't become knowledgeable pertaining to politics until Obama was in office. Now you know everything under the sun about politics. You know everything about everything. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to act like that. I don't care who was in office. I'm not very knowledgeable in politics because I just don't care. But I will say this, man. Whether or not you like Trump, you have to admit that the news is extremely biased against him. Because me, I'm the type of guy, I'm not going to hate on my worst enemy. I'm not going to make up lies and put out false articles and stretch the truth on my worst enemy. I'm going to give it to you straight whether or not I love you or I hate you. And they are just so biased and so fucked up the way they treat him sometimes. I was reading an article, man. Thank God I follow this YouTuber because he's kind of like, he's not a politics YouTuber. He's kind of like me, just talks about anything. But he talks about politics, and he's very in the middle, which is why I like him. But he put out a video. This is Smokey Dog, by the way. If any of y'all want to subscribe to him, tell him I sent you. It's Smokey, SMOKEYDOGG. Smokey Dog. Tell him Debonair D sent you. But anyway, he was making a video and he was talking about how they lied about him saying that illegal immigrants were animals. And then I started seeing the articles come out because, like I said, I don't pay attention to the news like that as far as political news. But, that's what I'm talking about, man. I watched the goddamn video. I watched it with my own eyes and listened to it with my own motherfucking ears. And he did not say illegal immigrants or animals. He was specifically talking about MS-13. Now, let me say something to you guys. Now, I'm not, I am a square, but I'm not so square to where I act like I don't, whatever. I'm not going to go into that. But let me just say this about MS-13. They don't fucking play. I've known MS-13 members since I was in middle school. I remember I was in middle school with some of these guys. They were 13, 14 years old with the shit, doing shit that grown men wouldn't fathom doing. These people do not fucking play. So, by me knowing that Donald Trump is the president of the United States, he's sworn a duty. He's sworn an oath to make it his duty to make this country as great as possible. I'm not, no pun intended, with his slogan, but he's sworn an oath to make this country as prosperous and as safe as possible. Whether or not you're a Republican, whether or not you're a Democrat, whether or not you're in the middle, you swear an oath to make this country as great as possible. If you're a governor, you sworn an oath to make your respective state as good as possible. If you're a mayor, city, so on and so forth. So why are you guys mad and I know most of y'all aren't really mad. You're just acting mad because he's doing it. But why are y'all mad at a president? Not a Crip, not a Blood, a GD, not some other gang member. You're mad at a president for wanting to get rid of MS-13, a gang that is very violent. They bring a lot of crime to the United States. Why are you mad that a president wants to completely eradicate them? That's what they do. That's what they do. Now, like right now, and of course I wouldn't do this, I'm just a square, you guys know that, but if I had an illegal gun on me, and I got it showing, you can see the clip hanging out, I got a 30 clip, and you can see the extendo hanging out my pocket, or out my waistband, whatever, and I walk past the police, and he takes it from me, and he arrests me for possession of an illegal firearm. Yeah, I'm mad I got caught, but I can't get really mad at him because he's a goddamn cop. I knew better. You know what I'm saying? So how are you going to get mad at a president for wanting to get rid of a gang that terrorizes certain parts of this country? Like I said, man, I've known these people. I think a lot of y'all, part of the reason why you say some of the shit you say is because you haven't experienced some of it, man. But hey, I know some of these members. They don't fucking play. They will do shit that the average Blood or Crip or GD, whatever, they will never even fathom doing. They do some shit that you ain't never even heard of. They do not fucking play. They are really with the shit. So, not only am I just disgusted by the way people act like it's a bad thing to get rid of a gang, but just stop fucking lying all the time, man. Why is it so goddamn hard for just a news agency, whether it be Fox, because Fox ain't no motherfucking better. They just lie about the other shit. They're on the right. They have a right bias. But why is it so fucking hard for Fox, CBS, NBC, CNN, Young Turks, New York Times, Washington Post? We can go on and on. Why is it so motherfucking hard for all these goddamn news agencies just to release the motherfucking news? Just give me the news. And I'm not just talking about politics, man, but why is it so fucking hard for them just to tell me what the fuck happened? And don't tell me no bullshit that's speculation. Just tell me what happened. And no, I'm not angry, man, but goddamn, it's just so aggravating, man. And that's another reason why I don't pay attention to the news, because I don't know what the fuck is real anymore. Fox has been, I'm kind of like Smokey Dog, man. When I was younger, I used to believe that the Democrats were the good guys. I knew Republicans didn't give a fuck. I knew they didn't give a fuck about poor people or, certain minorities and things like that. I knew that, but I always just was under the guise. I was under the false impression that Democrats cared. They really cared. They're the honest guys. They're the truthful guys. Whatever. And just the older I've got, man, the more I realize they're both full of shit and they both don't give a fuck. And my belief also went with the news agencies. I remember when I used to want to get the news, I went to CNN because I said, man, Fox is biased. CNN ain't though. CNN gonna give you that real news. And, like I said, I realized how fucking wrong I was, man, because they are just as biased, if not more biased than Fox. I think it just depends on who's the president or who they're talking about at that time. Now, right now, if Fox and CNN are talking about Trump, something Trump did, I think CNN is going to be more biased because they're going to try to downplay it or just make it or just demonize it even more than it really is. So Fox is going to be a little bit more fair. But I remember when Obama was in office, CNN was probably the better news agency to watch because they would just, Fox would just say bold-faced lies about Obama, how CNN does Trump now. They would say bold-faced lies, and they would just nitpick. I mean, I remember back in the day, they were complaining about Obama wearing a tan suit. I said, a tan? I remember they were complaining about him having a tan suit, putting his feet up on the desk, smoking cigarettes. I mean, just come fucking on. Or one of the main complaints, he vacations too much. Him and Michelle, his tranny wife, they vacation too much. But now Trump is taking all these goddamn trips and they don't say anything. You see? And what a lot of people on the left now don't realize is that they look exactly the same that a lot of those Republicans and people on the right looked back in the day. All that birther nonsense, all that shit about him having on tan suits, cigarettes, him ruining the country, him being the worst president, him being the Antichrist, all of that is no different than you saying Trump is Hitler reincarnated. He eats 2 ice cream scoops a day. He drinks nothing but Diet Cokes. He watches the Gorilla Channel. All this nonsense is exactly the same. And it's so fucking sad and stupid that you guys can't see that, man. But I don't want to talk about politics too much, just because that's not really my thing. Maybe in a later video. But yeah, man, it's just be careful whether or not you like Trump or not. Be careful who you watch. And, I know you got to get the news from somewhere, man. So if you're watching CNN, hey, I'm not saying that they don't put out sometimes they put out something and it's 100% factual. And sometimes they put out shit that's a bold-faced lie. So just make sure that you use these different news agencies as just like a source, something that just kind of gets you into the hole so you can fully go down the rabbit hole and investigate yourself. When I see a story on CNN, a lot of times I'll flip over to Fox, get the story there, and I say, okay, it's probably somewhere around the middle. Now, if they're both saying the exact same thing, I'm led to believe it's probably true. But if CNN is saying one thing and Fox is saying another thing, I probably say, okay, you know what, it's probably right in the middle. And then I'll research it myself, and I'll search the videos that they're talking about and watch it with my own eyes. I'll listen to the audio recordings they're talking about and listen to it with my own ears. That's how I discover the truth. And I think that's the best way to discover the truth, man, because, of course we all have our own individual biases, but that's my bias. So when I listen to a video, it gives me an opportunity to formulate my own opinion. I'm not getting Don Lemon's opinion. I'm not getting Tucker Carlson's opinion. I'm getting my motherfucking opinion. But yeah, man. But hey, man, I did an Alpha Destiny video. I uploaded it about not even an hour ago, man. And I know it's gonna get a lot of views, and I might catch some flack, man. But that shit with Alpha Destiny is crazy. I mean, the only thing that kind of surprised me, which I don't know why, but the only thing that kind of surprised me is that he made that comment saying nigger stole my bike earlier. When I saw that, I was like, he said that on Darian Ryder's video. But let me say this, man. And, one thing that makes me so unique, I'm just a shit regardless. I really am that motherfucker regardless. But one thing that makes me such the bad mama watch your mouth that I am today is because I really have had the opportunity to gain the best of all worlds. I grew up speaking to people who are very involved in religiosity. I grew up with people who gang banged. I grew up with people who were pimps. I grew up with Macs. I grew up with people who were farmers. I grew up with people who were truck drivers. I grew up with people who had college educations, went to Ivy League schools. I grew up with people who were millionaires. I grew up with people who didn't have shit. I grew up with people who were middle class. I grew up with blacks. I grew up, I don't want to say grew up, but for a decent amount of time, I went to school with white people. I went to school with Indian people. I went to school with Latinos, Asians, Native Americans. I mean, I've been all across this motherfucking globe. And I'm not saying all this to brag or anything, but, I'm just very well cultured and I'm really in the middle just because my entire life I was never raised around just one type of ideology pertaining to a certain subject. I didn't just grow up around nothing but Christians. I grew up around atheists, agnostics, people who were non-practicing Christians, Muslims. I grew up around all of that. I didn't just grow up from people who were from the South. I grew up with people who were from the North, the Midwest. So I'm very well cultured and very in the middle about a lot of things because I've always seen both sides of the coin. And I'm saying all that to say, a lot of people talk shit about certain white people or not just white people, but certain people of color when they come out and they've been, quote unquote exposed to have said the N-word, man. But, I know that every race says derogatory slang, racial slurs. I know this. I've done it. And a lot of y'all, if certain videos of me ever come out or whatever, y'all might try to paint me into this thing, man. But I love all people. I don't have any discord with any one group of people. I just hate, assholes, just period. I don't give a fuck what you look like. I don't like motherfuckers who are grimy. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think a white person who just says the word nigger is inherently racist. Now, I will probably say you're probably not the biggest black lover ever, you know what I'm saying? But then again, I mean, that doesn't even matter. I've met people who didn't even really realize they were racist, but they despised black people or despised Hispanics. You will never hear a racial slur leave their mouth, whether or not they're home in the privacy of their home or they're out in public. You'll never hear them say racial slurs. But they are racist. I've met people who use racial slurs, who would take the clothes off their back for a black person. Now, like I said, I'm not saying this happens frequently, but I'm just not the type of guy to put a jacket on somebody just because of something they did or said. Because you don't know if they were joking, especially things that people say when they're a minor. I mean, in Alpha Destiny's case, he was about 14, 15 years old. No. I take that back. I think the timestamp said it was 4 years ago. So he's 23 now. He was 19 years old. I mean, he's old enough to know better. He shouldn't be using that word. But I'm not going to inherently... Hold on one second, guys. I'll be right back. Yo, I'm back. But I'm not going to inherently say that he's a racist just because he used that word a few years ago, man. Because, for one, he was on the internet. People talk crazy on the internet. And, I guess he never really thought he would make it to this point. But, people save those comments and shit, man. So, I'm saying all this to say, man, I'm not going to call him a racist. He may be. Like I said, he hasn't really gave any evidence that he's not a racist. But, I'm the type of guy, you're innocent until proven guilty. I haven't seen him say or actually do things that really paint a picture, a racist picture. It kind of reminds me of Hulk Hogan. I remember he said the N-word back a few years back, about 10 years ago. Or maybe it wasn't that long. I don't remember how long it was. But, I didn't inherently say he was racist. What, because he said nigger? I mean, let's just be real, man. You know how many times I've said cracker? I don't hate white people at all. I love white people. But I've said cracker. Hell, me and my mom, we just kind of got like a running joke. She don't say it, but I say slurs to her all the time. I don't mean any of that bullshit. It's just I'm being funny. I'm being facetious. But if any of those clips, if she was ever to record me saying some of those slurs, y'all would think I'm a monster. I use slurs against gays, women, different races, but I don't mean that. I'm being facetious. But it could be taken out of context. Hold on right quick, y'all. But it could be taken out of context. So, whatever, man. But make sure you guys check out my video concerning Alpha Destiny, man. I just, this may be the end of him, though. This might be kind of like, the situation with Jason Blaha. Jason Blaha still has a following, but he'll never really fully be able to come back from those huge blows he took around the time all those quote-unquote exposed videos came out. And in Jason Blaha's case, a lot of the flack he gets, it's kind of deserved, but he's done some things in his past. A lot of those clips and certain images and things that people pulled up about him were from his past, his bodybuilding.com days and things like that. But hey, man, it is what it is, So I don't know if Alpha Destiny will ever bounce back from it. I mean, he still has about 147,000 subscribers, but that's around the same subscriber count Jason Blaha has, I think. So, of course, he doesn't show his subscriber count, but, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. It's not as much, quote-unquote, exposed information coming out about Alpha Destiny, but it's just began. So I don't know what can come out about him. Perhaps even more shit comes out about him. Like I said, I don't have a problem making a follow-up video saying I was wrong about my discernment on the situation. I don't have a problem coming out and saying that. So, yeah, we'll just play it by ear right now. That's really all we can do is just play it by ear. But make sure you check out that video. Man, I was sitting up there earlier, and, it's funny, man, when you just start really focusing on yourself, you focus on being happy, you put down the phone. I put out a video about a month ago of me just talking about, we're over sensationalized. We always have a phone in our hand. We always have earphones in our ear. We always have a computer in front of us. We're always playing video games, whatever. And man, I talked about that, and I've been following my old advice. I've been meditating. I've been staying away from my phone a little bit. I've been doing this for the past few months, but I just sit outside now. And when I sit outside, I don't sit outside with my phone. I just sit outside and just enjoy the weather, like an old man. And when you do that, man, it really regulates the hormones in your brains, the chemicals, and you really just start to enjoy life so much more. And one thing, my favorite benefit of just giving up the porn, giving up the masturbation, giving up the video games, eating clean, basically just holistic, I guess you could say clean lifestyle. One thing that I really like about it is that, man, just the smallest of things just make me happy, generally happy. Now, somebody like me, I'm a kind of null guy. I'm pretty dull most of the time. Even when I get happy, I usually don't get super happy, and when I get sad, I don't get super sad. I really rarely get angry. I'm pretty devoid of emotions, man, but I will say that I enjoy a lot more things than I used to. For example, on a happiness scale of 1 to 10, 1 being super depressed, 10 being, in complete heaven, doing something like, cleaning up my condo, the landscaping in my condo. Before, that might have took me to like a 5.5. I would have liked it, but I could have taken it or leave it. But now that takes me to like a 6.5, which doesn't, I'm still not smiling. I'm not visually smiling now, but it still does make you just a little bit more happy than you would have been. Me and my neighbors, man, we've been replanting some grass. I'm thinking about starting another garden at the condominium garden. We're gonna plant some flowers. We're planting different bushes. We did all this yard work, and I go out now. I water the front lawn. I water and put some Roundup down and shit. And I generally feel proud that I've done all this. Of course with some help, but I just feel proud of myself. When I go to the gym now, and I reach a PR, I do an extra rep than I thought, or I can go longer. Maybe instead of being able to do 20 rounds, I'm able to do 30 rounds, something like that. I just feel generally happy, and I'm like smiling on the inside, man, because it's just like, wow, man, I'm just doing great. And even simple things like finishing a book. Now, me, I've always been a very avid reader. I'm a fast reader. I'm a good reader. I read pretty well. But now, like, when I finish a book, I'm just like, man, I just finished that in 2 days. And that's nothing new to me. I've been able to finish books in a day or 2 days or whatever, especially small, simple books. But, you just feel your dopamine levels are much more regulated, so you just feel levels of accomplishment much more than before. So I'm going to do another video on that because a lot of that could be sourced from NoFap. So I'm going to be doing a video on that and explain how it feels and all of that. It's about time. I started NoFap in October, and I know you guys like these videos, so I'm down there to our 8-month mark, so I'm going to be doing a video pretty soon. So stay tuned for that, man. But yeah, man, I've been doing this yard work, man, and it's just, like I said, all we did was pull up some dead bushes and kill some weeds and, plant some grass. I mean, we worked hard. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot more than it sounds, but, just even me thinking about this garden I'm about to start again. I haven't had a garden in like 8 years. So I'm thinking about this garden I'm going to have. I'm thinking about this I'm going to do, that I'm going to do, what I'm not going to do. And I just feel so good. Just for hours, I could just sit and just enjoy my own thoughts and just enjoy the sunlight outside for hours. And I just really enjoy the smaller things in life. And this vacation couldn't have been a better thing because, me and my mom is like my travel buddy. She always will be, no matter how old I get. I was getting another notification. Thanks again, man, for all you subscribers, especially people listening to this podcast, man, because I know it's fairly hard to listen to a podcast, man. It gets long. Sometimes there's down points, but, I'm trying to keep it entertaining for you guys, man, and I really appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new. But anyway, me and my mom, like I said, we're travel buddies, man, and, when we go out, man, when we go to different, when we vacation and everything, I don't really use my phone. I have it on me, of course, but I don't really use it, and sometimes I can't use it. Like when I go on a cruise, when you're out in the middle of that ocean, there's no service. So, you can't use it. There's been certain parts, when I go to Jamaica, I go to the hoods. I go to the slums. I don't want to have my phone out because I'm not, for obvious reasons. And many more examples. I'm just really focused on engulfing myself and fully absorbing the culture and the lifestyle there. So I don't have my phone out. When I go to New York, I'm going to take it out, take pictures and some videos sometimes, but I'm really just going to be focused on socializing, enjoying the good food and the good music and all of that. So, this vacation was very well timed, man, because I've really been bettering myself lately, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, you know what I'm saying? And, I'm really enjoying life right now. And I'm about to be very busy. My life is about to change a lot this summer, especially this fall. But hey, man, I'm ready to take it. I'm gonna take it all in stride. And I've never been a big school goer. I've never really been that into school, but I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to just wrapping up college, man, and just going on with my life. I really feel like I've just really grown a lot the past, year or so. And that's how I like to live my life, man. I don't want to ever look back at my birthday. A lot of people do New Year's, but I always use my birthday as a sort of resolution time, a sort of reflection time. And I don't ever like looking back and say, man, what the fuck have I done since the last, because like I just turned 20 in March. I don't want to look back and say, man, what the fuck have I done since I've been 19? Nothing. I don't ever want to do that. Or what have I done since I was 18? Nothing. 17. I don't ever want to do that, man. I like accomplishing things. So, I'm going to do another video on that, man, just to how to live with a certain level of accomplishment every day. Because like I said, I walk outside and I just look at the grass and everything, and I'm like, man, I did that. I go over to the pool, I look at the garden plots, and I say, man, I'm about to have a beautiful garden right there. Just things like that. Or I walk in the gym, and as soon as I walk in, even if I don't fuck with let's say the overhead press, I look at the squat rack and I say, man, last time I stepped up in that squat rack, man, I sat up there and pressed 2 more reps than usual. I set a 2-rep PR. I'm the shit. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or I see somebody boxing on the heavy bags, and no disrespect to them, but I say, man, I remember I used to be that damn bad. Now look at me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really enjoying life, man. But I'm going to do another video on that, man. I know a lot of you guys asked me some of that shit, so I'm going to do another video on it, man. But right now we're at 39 and a half minutes, man. And, I'm feeling great today, man. I've been waking up early. I used to wake up at 8 a.m., which is plenty of time to sleep in. You can go to sleep at 12 and still get a good 8 solid hours. But I bumped it up to 7. I did that for a while. Then I bumped it up to 6. I stayed at 6 for maybe since November. I've been waking up at 6. But it's been relatively hard, man. But what I've been doing now for the past month, I was waking up at 5:30, but now I bumped that motherfucker up to 5:20. And eventually I may go up to 5. I really don't see a reason to, but I've been waking up at 5:20, and it's really just, waking up early is beautiful, man. Not only do you get a fresh start on your day, but, it's just it's another thing, man. It's a certain sense of accomplishment. Because it's like, man, I go down the street and there's nobody outside. I walk through my condo complex. Nobody's lights are on inside. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I really am a winner. Now, I'm not doing anything spectacular when I wake up. I'm probably just about to go get some morning cardio. That's nothing spectacular. I mean, yeah, a lot of people don't have the heart to do morning cardio, but that's nothing, extraordinary. But it just gives you a certain sense of accomplishment. But there are cons. And I have to get used to these cons, man, because even though it's a pro, one thing I can't fucking stand about waking up early is that you have to go to sleep early, which I hate. I hate it, man, because right now it's 6:15. Well, it's actually 6:11, but it's 6:15. I'm going to have to be off my phone in 2 hours. I'm going to have to be getting ready for bed in 2 hours, man. I got to be asleep by about 9:30. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh my God, it seems like you don't have an evening. And I'm not a big night person, but, it seems like I can't do anything. If I do anything, my whole sleep schedule is thrown off. Even if I don't get back to the house, even if I get back at the house as early as 10, which for a lot of people is super early, but if I get back at 10, I probably won't be asleep before 10:30. Probably most likely 11, though. So now what, man? My whole sleep schedule is thrown off by 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? So that is one con of waking up super early. You got to go to sleep super early. And another drawback is that it kind of just goes into my first point. You don't have any leeway room. You sit up there and you just, even if you stay up to 10 o'clock, man, your whole schedule can be thrown off. And it takes a long time, like months, to really teach your body to, hey, wake up at 5:30. Even though we're naturally supposed to wake up around 5:30 or 6, when the sun is coming up. Like I said, man, for months, I wasn't waking up earlier than 7. Even when I was in high school, man, I was waking up at 7:30, 7 or 7:30. And that's the earliest I used to have to wake up. So it's going to take a lot of time for my body to learn how to sleep at 5:30, how to wake up at 5:30 rather, as well as, waking up at 5:30 even if I stayed out all night, because that's another part of learning a sleep schedule. You got to always wake up at the same time. That's another reason why Mondays are so hard for people, because they slept all Sunday, or they couldn't sleep Sunday because they had been up all Saturday night and slept all, it's a cycle. So it does take a lot of lifestyle change, man, but I've been doing it for a while and I'm trying to stick to it. I'm always good during the week, because during the week I get up, I do my morning cardio. It's all good. What hits me is on the weekends, because, you're naturally, you want to kind of kick it a little bit on the weekends, but you either got two options. Either don't fucking kick it, which I don't recommend, just not in having a life. But the second option, which is the harder option, but it's the best option, is to still kick it. But hey, man, even if you stayed out till 2 a.m, wake up at 5:30. Just do it. Just do it, man. And it's hard, especially when you're first starting. You're going to want to hit that snooze button. You're going to want to turn it off. But hey, man, just wake your ass up. Wake up. Get up out of bed. Do maybe 50 push-ups or 20 push-ups, however many you can, whatever, 100. And, just wake up, man. Get some coffee if you need to and make up for it the next night. That's what I try to do, man. But hey, man, we're about 45 minutes in, man. I'm going to wrap this podcast up. I got to make a salad. I'm hungry. I got to pack my bags. Like I said, I'm going to New York in the morning. New York is so nice. They named it twice, so I'm definitely got to go see what's going on in that location. And, when I reach my destination tomorrow, I may drop some videos for you guys, because, I'm not really a tourist per se. My mother has been to New York a few times, and, I'm not going to say I don't want to see it, but I'm not super big on seeing the Statue of Liberty and shit. I want to see it, but if I don't see it, I'm all good. I like going to the restaurants and seeing certain hotels and things like that. That's what I like doing. So um, I may drop some videos for you guys tomorrow. I actually have about 2 or 3 videos on my phone that I haven't uploaded. If I'm not able to drop a video, I may just drop that for you guys. So, as always, for all you people who made it this far, I appreciate you watching. Like I said, I got that series coming up. I just decided to name this podcast The Debonair Show, as you can see by the title. If you guys have any suggestions for any videos, hey man, drop them. Drop them. I don't mind. I had a couple videos, man. Goddamn, I can't talk. I had a few suggestions like word around the campfire and shit like that. But see, certain jokes that I get, I know a lot of y'all ain't gonna get. You know what I'm saying? So when I say word around the campfire, I get that from, that's kind of like a joke on me from like talking like an older man, from always being around older people. That's kind of like a joke that I get. But y'all might be, man, word around the campfire, this lame ass motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta be very careful with my terminology that I use on the channel. So if you have any suggestions, drop them down below, man. If you think the Debonair Show is cool, hey man, that's cool. And when I get big, which I am gonna get big, it's gonna be easier for people to find me because my name is Debonair D. So people just search the Debonair Show. Easy to find. Kind of like Joe Rogan. He don't have this weird name. The name of his show is The Joe Rogan Experience. But you also have people like Sam Tripoli, who name of his show is the Tinfoil Hat Podcast, which is easy to remember, but it doesn't have his name in it. But that's a very good name for what he talks about. So, it is what it is, man. And goddamn, thinking about his shit, I actually wanted to talk about some flat Earth shit, man. I may sit up there and drop that later on, or I may just do a separate video on that. Maybe I'll go live and talk about it in New York, but especially consider I'm about to hop in this plane and look at this so-called flat Earth or so-called round Earth. So I'm gonna drop some videos for you guys later, man. Like I said, I appreciate you guys watching. For all you loyal subscribers, you motherfuckers made it in 47 minutes, man. I fuck with you, man. Y'all are my boys. But for all you guys, man, you had to split this up. You said, man, I'm going to listen to this big mouth motherfucker talk for 47 minutes straight. Hey, man, I love you too, man. It's all good. It's all cool in the gang. But I appreciate you guys watching, man. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. I will see you guys later. Bye. Peace. I said peace.